How'd you like? Was that a good intro?
Yeah, it was
Was I in
awesome.
tune? Was I in fucking tune or not?
Well,
Definitely not in tune, but
I think it can
Oh,
best
God
be
damn it.
described as it was an intro.
Well, um, fuck it, I'll take it. Whatever is what it is. God, see, I'm trying to reorganize my screens. I got two screens on each side of me, and the microphone, and everything's in my way. I look to the right, and the microphone's in my face, and I can't see shit. But it is what it is. It's fine.
oh, I see what you mean. You're talking about stars. I see.
Yeah, I told you.
Interesting.
I don't think they can do subs yet, but stars, yeah. Drop a star. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the point in our Facebook feeds, our live events that you can drop a stars to us. It's amazing. We'll be millionaires by the end of the year. Not so much, but maybe if I win those power, maybe if I win the Powerball tonight, I fucking will be. Vacations for everyone. You a vacation, and you a vacation. Anybody west of the Adirondack, no vacation.
Oh, it costs money to send stars. I did not know that.
Yes, it does. That's how they make their money. That's how the streamers make their money, like the gamers and all that. You could do subscriptions too. It's like I think it's like $5 or $6, like for subs, a month, and then the stars.
We're getting big time here, folks.
But yeah, we're moving on up. Slow but
Sorry,
sure.
I just laughed hysterically at something I saw on my Facebook feed.
What did it say?
It's from a group called Baby Yoda, and it's
Maybe
it's a
Yoda.
screen. It's a 3-tiered screenshot, if you will. The first shot, it's Mandalorian saying, "I hear you have more jobs for me. Do you have the bounty pucks?" And the next shot is Grief Karga, and he's saying, "These three I want brought in cold. It's very personal." And then the last screenshot is the 3 bounty pucks showing the images of the Predator, Ivan Drago, and of course, the alligator from Happy Gilmore.
Oh my fucking god.
That's awesome. Yes. So I saw in NBA news that LeBron has stated that he will be returning for another season.
Yeah,
I
I
don't give
got
a
like
shit.
I got an update about that on my phone the other day. I think it was from the Athletic, and I think I honestly said, "Wait a minute, there was a thought that he wouldn't." You're wasting your notifications with this.
Yeah,
Come
pretty
on,
much.
we
So
notifications about stuff that actually matters.
so here's the thing about this. At the end of the game where they lost, he made comments, right? And then he's the one who made the comment that he did at the end of the NBA finals when he was interviewed. All the sports networks talked about it for a day or two. I think some of them a little bit longer, but after that, it wasn't something that was like dragged on, honestly. And then he decides and has I'm sorry, this kind of pissed me off when I heard he said this. And he had the audacity to go up there and it's like take a shot at the media, the sports media.
Mhm.
Dude, there was only maybe a handful that talked about it for longer than like several days. All the other ones talked about it for a couple days and boom, you were out of the conversation. They were moving on. Like we know you want to play with your son. So you making that comment was, at the NBA finals, okay, you're emotional. Maybe you're thinking about it. Maybe I won't play with my son. But you're the one who said it. The media didn't do anything but talk about what you said. No one said,
Mhm.
oh, he's thinking about retiring. No, he's not. I feel he put the story out there and then kind of like tried to twist it around and put it on the media. And I'm like, dude, just fucking stop. I don't give a shit. And today it was announced that, last year they retired Bill Russell's number in the NBA. So if you're currently wearing it, you were grandfathered in. So he decided to go back to 23. He will be wearing next season to, not wear number 6, which that's fine. but there's a big headline on ESPN for that. Don't care. Great. That's awesome. He's respecting Bill Russell. He's going to go back to 23. Let's move on. The NFL season's starting. Don't give two shits about basketball at this point. Like, it's the summer league going on. Not much going on. Let's get some football going. There's still baseball going on. Yeah. Basketball is not going to be into my mind until like October. Pretty much. That's my take on that. Just aggravated me listening to that. It's like, come on, man. You're the one who said it. Is what it is, though. But overall, how was everybody's week?
It was fantastic. I was on vacation.
It
course.
was a week.
Jeremy was in the good old state of Delaware at the Rehoboth Beach. I have ventured to that area before several times. That I do. I have to admit, we need to go back there because I like that area.
Yeah.
Rehoboth, Bethany Beach, and all that stuff. Yeah, and there's several places that we ate there that I kind of miss and whatnot, and just the atmosphere down there is really nice. Honestly,
no, it is. It's fun. It's relaxing. Where we stay is really close to the beach. We're about 3 blocks off the beach. So the only thing that was kind of a downer, but not really, is they were extending the beach. So what they do is they have dredging boats out in the ocean, pulling the sand off the bottom of the ocean and piping it in, and then they make these huge mounds, and then they even it out and stuff and make the beach longer again. So they have to do it about every 5 years or so, they said.
Yes.
Because the storms and stuff that come up the coastline, erode the beach and stuff like that. So if they don't do it, they'll beach. So and they do it in
at that point.
They do it in Fenwick, Rehoboth, and Bethany. So they have to do it in all those up that whole entire coastline there. So it's kind of interesting that kind of stuff. I mean, I understand how it happens. Just interesting how they go about it and that. So that was the only downer. So, but before we continue, I wanted to, can you guys see this little sign here?
I see a sign. I
okay.
Cannot read that sign, but I can see it.
I'll go get it.
Debbie, very gracious of you, sir. As he cleans the spider web off at the same time.
Yeah. That's what happens when you go away. So
I am the father. Oh, that's dope.
I am their father.
I am their. Oh yeah, I can't read. I am their father.
Yeah,
the lightsabers with their names on there. That's dope. I love it.
Now, did they get to pick what color lightsaber they wanted their names to be on, or was it like preset?
Jill picked out the colors based on their favorite colors.
That's crooked.
It's not crooked. It was crooked. It's not crooked anymore.
I don't know. Still looks a little crooked to me.
You have to tap the left side. Tap the top of the left side. Just tap it.
There.
I mean,
see now it's crooked the other way.
Oh, shut up. Yes. So yeah, it's so yellow is Chelsea's favorite color, blue is Abby's favorite color, and then red is Lucas's. And of course, red would happen to be Lucas's because of all my children, he would turn to the dark side first. I'm sure.
The youngest turns to the dark side first. It's awesome.
So. But yeah,
he could be Pat's apprentice. Cool. There you go.
Yeah, he could be.
There's your apprentice, Pat.
So yes, got myself a little color.
Apprentice.
That's the one nice thing about going to the beach.
I actively discourage apprentices, knowing that they'll one day try to kill me.
Yes. No rule of 2 for you. There can only be one.
It's the rule of 1 in Pat's book.
There can be only one.
I was gonna say something and I forgot.
That's okay.
Hey, comes with age, I guess. You know what I mean? You think of shit, you forget of shit. You forget about shit.
That's all right. We had to ask my dad if he was trying to talk at times this week. He
Well,
would
you know, I
start
think
trying to
that
say
ge-
something, and it would be a whole bunch of jumble words, and it'd be like, "What do you what?"
What was that again?
my,
What?
my
Say that
wife
again,
said, "Are you?"
everybody.
My wife said, "Are you talking right now?" She's done that to me too when I can't get my damn thoughts out. It's not very nice.
You know what? Sometimes, the brain goes faster than the mouth wants to move, and muscle memory isn't there like it used to be. I will say that.
Indeed.
I will say that. So, speaking of good old football, I did not join the live Facebook feed last night for our draft order. I did not sleep well the previous night. I had my neck was acting up. It was flaring up. I didn't sleep well. So, yeah, I was passed out earlier than 10 o'clock last night, unfortunately. But I see that I'm drafting 6th in the draft. I'm okay with that. It's in the middle. That's fine, I guess. It is what it
I
is.
am number 8.
So,
Whatever.
just let me draft.
I love the fact that people are requesting that we use a different app instead of the ESPN. Can we switch our thing to this app? Can we switch it? Does it really matter? It's not like the app's going to make a difference in how good you do in the league. Either you
I
pick
mean,
the
no,
right people
because
and do the right trades, or you don't. Like,
I mean, seriously, it's not. I mean, their default point systems are like a smidge different, but overall, you can still customize the same shit in each one. It's all about like which one you think looks prettier, I guess, or more customizable for your league, which NFL.com is more customizable per se than ESPN. But I do understand the other aspect because my coworker uses that app for one of his leagues, and they use it because it is you can do a franchise in there. So, and it's like it's a little bit set up differently, but yeah, it's actually, my friend says it's pretty cool. Especially if you can have at least three quarters of the people that are in it stay in it every year for an extended period of time. If you have to bring a couple people in here or there, not a big deal, but as long as you can keep like 3/4 of all the teams in there, then it's definitely worth it. So, I mean, it doesn't, to be honest with you, doesn't matter to me. I just went on my ESPN, had a ball back in because my other coworker invited me to our work fantasy league that we're going to have. So, I had to get that all set up, and I'm like, oh, here's my team from last year, and the league that we're in. So it's all good. But so you talked to Austin about doing a
I did. I
fantasy?
did talk to my
Yes,
nephew about coming on and talking fantasy football, and he said,
yes.
"Sounds good."
So yes, folks, we are going to start slowly but surely, just like we got those stars available now, branching off and doing some show topic specifics, like fantasy football is going to be one of them, where we might come on once a week or so and talk a little fantasy football. We'll figure out the structure of that and availability and all that, but kind of talk a little about something different, and instead of listening to all this jibber jabber about something or nothing and everything in between.
Yeah, and I'll say this about my nephew. He understands, like, he may have not played sports, at a competitive level or anything like that, but he's one of these kids, and I say kid because he's my nephew. He's 25 years old.
Kid to me too, man. That's
Um, but he's one of these kids that can sit down and really, like, when he watches like football and like looks at stats and listens to like the analysts and stuff like that, he really gets it. Like, he understands how like how the game correlates to fantasy, and he can put those things together where I don't, like, for me, I I don't necessarily put those things together. Like I look at their stats and I'm like, okay, if he had these stats this last year, okay, who does he still have on his team? Is the possibility of getting? And I don't always draft very well. I admit that, but my nephew usually drafts really well. For some reason, my brother is able to draft really well. He always does well, but then he loses and comes in, third.
When it comes to playoff and championship time, he loses.
Yeah.
I see.
So regular season, don't face him. When you get to playoffs, it's okay.
Yeah, I get good players, but the last 5 years, the two fantasy leagues I've been in, I think the highest I've been is like 6th place. Like I just haven't been able to crack the top 6. Oh,
yes, and last year
yeah,
really upset me because I probably would have finished 3rd, but because they halted that one game, they never ended up playing it. I never got the points for that game, and I ended up, I think it was a tie, so the tie went to the other person, or they didn't count the game. I forget what the hell happened, but it ended up in 4th. I was like, what? Son of a...
Yeah, that game kind of hurt me too. So, well, I mean, it is what it is. It was, but yeah, man, I just keep, I feel like I'm looking back at my teams and I write down my teams like, all right, who's this? This is who I started with at the beginning of the year. This is who I ended with. Some small changes, but like, damn, I have good players, but I just can't get the right players for that specific season to be consistent. It's been driving me crazy.
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Uh-oh. What happened? Something happened in the wrestling show?
Yeah, I missed the fall here.
The fall. Oh. Somebody fell out the ring.
Oh, Ricky Starks won.
Wow, they let Ricky Starks win?
Yeah.
Oh, he cheated though.
No.
Oh, did he?
He grabbed onto the rope at like the last second.
No, he's a cheater.
See, here's the thing.
Is he heel now then? Because I've only known him as a face.
He's been a face, but I will say, I've been asking for him to turn heel, and I said the other week that this would be the match to start turning him heel. Honestly,
who was he wrestling in this one?
Punk.
He wrestled CM Punk, yeah. Because
that's a good person to turn heel against.
And here's the thing. And me and Pat talked about this last week. This tournament that they're doing is great. Aesthetical, for looks wise, it's great. You know what I mean? But nothing happened with Britt Baker and Adam Cole last year when they won those fancy belts. It was great. They won a tournament. They got these cool belts, and that was kind of it. It was really never talked about. And this year, I guess they don't get belts; they get trophies, and they just got a trophy. And Ricky Starks just kind of shunned Juice and Thunder Liger, and kind of just did like a little heel thing and shunned or shoot him away.
Is this show in Chicago?
No, they're in I think they're in Calgary tonight.
They're still in the Canadas.
Okay.
I think this is the last week in Canada, I think.
And they held the finals of the Owen Hart tournaments here in Calgary, which makes sense, So.
Yeah. But it's just they need to do something. Like, if you're gonna do this every year, make it something like copy off of that WWE and do something where they used to do something with King of Ring. King of Ring was like, you're the king and you do your thing and get a shot at the title or something. Do something with it. You know what I mean?
Because you said this was the Owen Hart tournament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They need to I agree. They don't have to do something, it doesn't have to be exactly like WWE, but they could build something off of this for the people that win it. Like, they should make it a big deal that besides just getting the trophy, like, oh, they won. Like, that should be something that Ricky Starks carries around with him. Maybe he makes his own belt or something goofy like that and is like, listen, I won the Owen Hart tournament. Like, I am, just it's easy to do and play up, especially now that he's a heel. If he's gone full blown heel turn, it's something you can play up and really
looks like he's really about to
run away.
Yeah. And here's the thing, I don't agree.
That was very interesting. What I just saw.
What was that?
Punk just because they're switching over, of course, here going directly from Collision to Battle of the Belt, so they got to get all these stupid fucking streamers out of the ring here.
Oh, what, Benoit's son?
Yeah, yeah. He went over and he hugged and shook hands with Benoit's son. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they mentioned him. Because I don't have the sound. I don't know if they mentioned
Oh,
him by name.
Benoit had more than one kid.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Because the only one they ever talked about was the one that was that tragedy.
Well, I guess you didn't watch the Benoit Dark Side of the Ring episode. But anyway, the funny thing too is the guy is standing next to Benoit's son is just like flipping Punk off and like shouting shit at him and everything. And it's like, you're lucky Punk's not an idiot because just bitch slap you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's time to turn off Battle of the Belts.
Which Cassidy's on. Pat's favorite person of all time.
It's funny because you talk about.
For once, I don't think the ratings dropped during his last segment. During his segment on the last Dynamite episode, for which they reviewed the ratings. I don't think. I could be wrong.
So I know you're not a fan of Orange Cassidy at all, and it's funny because I saw it was either a video clip or just a post with a picture, but he's evidently been doing the whole his hands in his pockets things for quite a long time. Like it's not something that he started when he got to AEW. It's something he's been doing for a long time. And while yes, it's different, I think it's my personal opinion from a wrestling fan. It's kind of dumb. Like it doesn't make sense. I get it's different, but you can only do that for so long before it's no longer different.
I think with him,
that's all I can say. I don't have anything else to say about it. Like I don't dislike the guy. I'm not a huge fan. I think he's very talented, very athletic. But he fits the mold. He fits the mold of what most of the AEW wrestlers are. Very skinny, very undersized for what is the stereotypical wrestler.
Yeah. I mean, like I've liked. Listen. I do like Orange Cassidy. I think my biggest thing with him is, like, he has the belt, and that's fine, but it's kind of like, I think the pockets thing needs to be toned down, and then his mic skills need to start improving.
Yeah, he needs to do something on the mic because he doesn't really do anything.
I'm sorry, like I don't see him as a heavyweight champion right now. Not even close. You want to give him the mid-card titles, that's fine. And actually work on it, okay, that's fine. But if they would ever put the heavyweight title on him like this year, I think that's when I would lose my shit. Be like, come on, guys, seriously?
Well, again, I mentioned to you once, I don't know that they're aiming to do it this year, but I do have a sneaky suspicion that's what they're aiming to do.
Oh, I believe it. So I believe next year there's going to be some storyline where he wins that belt. Absolutely.
And
I mean, remember here, of course, this is a guy, Orange Cassidy, whom the company owner dressed up as for fucking Halloween.
And the little kicks too. Like that's another thing. Like,
yeah, you're supposed to be wrestling, not counting coup.
Yeah. I just want him to tone that down, work on his mic skills to improve his character. Like,
who's he wrestling?
Lance Archer.
Lance, okay.
Oh, just when I was about to say, I haven't really seen him put his hands in his pockets a lot recently. He's doing it while
outside the ring. Yeah.
Stepping outside with Jake, who I haven't seen in a while, and he stopped dyeing his hair and got fat.
Hey, he's still doing his DDP yoga. Leave him alone.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, he was on
if he's still clean, which I think he still is, that's all that matters.
I'm just saying he was on the JYD episode of Dark Side, and of course, obviously, that was filmed months ago. But he wasn't gray or white haired or anything then, so he dyed his hair at least for that. And I mean, maybe he was that heavy then. I don't know, but he didn't look it. So
no, I get it.
So for me, like I said, I don't hate Orange Cassidy. I think he's very talented. I think he's very athletic. I'm not a big fan of the pockets thing. My only other takeaway, besides of course Mike's skills, of course need to improve. We need to see something from him. I really feel like he could probably talk with the mic. He just doesn't. Maybe that's just part of his character, and that's the way he wants his character to be.
I mean,
Cool,
his
whatever.
character in the Indies was kind of like that too. Like he didn't really talk a lot. He would speak a couple words here and there, but it was nothing at length to like show any like
Right.
true mic.
But if you're
skill.
going to be a heavyweight champ, you have to either get a mouthpiece or be the mouthpiece. Like one of the two. Like you can't just not talk or say one-liners. It doesn't really work in the world of wrestling.
You need Don Callis, or you need to learn how to speak.
Yeah. The other thing is, I really wish he'd find a new finisher. And it's just because from a storytelling in ring aspect, the Orange Crush, he doesn't have the physique to say that move is effective. Now, of course, if he really hit me with it, I'd probably be on the floor knocked out. But I'm not a professional wrestler either. Like, you're talking about professional wrestlers. There's got to be believability to the moves that you're doing. Like they actually look like they would hurt. If you're punching somebody like Big Cass, I know that's not his name anymore, but that's the only way I can remember him. If you're doing a Superman punch to him, it's got to be believable that you can knock him down. You shouldn't have to hit him 4 times with the move and one off the top ropes to finish him off. Like,
and it's very challenging that you have a guy that is the world champion in another organization that's been doing it for a long, using the same move for a long time. That's 3 times his size.
Yeah, Roman Reigns goes what, 270? What's Orange Cassidy, 170?
Like 6'4". Yeah. My thing. Here's my thing with Orange Cassidy. I would like to see him use the Orange Crush as a setup to a finisher. Boom, Orange Crush, stun him, and then do something after that to be like your finisher.
Yes.
And I'm just going to use Hogan as an example. The big boots for the leg drop.
Yes, because we know the leg drop was not a finisher that was going to knock you out. But the big boot took your steam away, and then the big boot, the leg drop was the finisher because you already had the wind knocked out.
It was all about the sequence.
Yes. Because
if he had a sequence to that with the Orange Crush, I think that would do him much better.
Speaking about finishers, if Darby Allin does not change his finisher to something other than falling off the fucking top rope, I'm going to lose my shit. That move is not even realistic to being ever going to hurt anybody. He's 140 pounds and falls on somebody from the top rope. He's not jumping. He's not doing anything that makes it look like he's going to hurt somebody. He falls. He literally just falls down.
But he is changing it. He's still going to just, fall backward onto the guy. But for added impact now, when he falls, he's going to shout out, Geronimo.
It's like, and once again, I don't dislike Darby Allin. I don't necessarily like his character, and I'm not going to say that he can't wrestle. But once again, believability. Like, if you want me to buy into your character, I have to believe what you're doing is going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's like, people hate on Rey Mysterio. Okay. So we'll jump over to WWE. Rey Mysterio. When Rey Mysterio did stuff, I believed that he was hurting somebody because he was throwing full body weight on people. Okay. He was doing things that looked like they could literally hurt you, jumping off the top rope and coming, crotch to their face and, making them fall on their back. That looked like it could hurt. 619, maybe not so much because, he's not spinning at a high speed or rate. He's slowed down quite a bit by the time he spins around.
Unique finisher, yes.
Unique finisher. Believability, not so much with it really hurts that much, especially when guys oversell it and fly backwards off the ropes. Okay.
He's never really much used it as an actual finisher either. So, a lot of times he hits the 619 and then he'll do the West Coast pop. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So So, but there was believability to his moves that were supposed to hurt people, like when he kicks a guy in the gut or when he kicks him inside of the leg. Things like that. You're not going to see Rey Mysterio doing a Superman punch to somebody that's 6'2" when he's 5'8". He's going to do something off the top rope that makes him have to hit somebody in the chest and neck area. That uses his body. Like, that's where the believability comes from, and that's one of the things I have a hard time with certain characters in AEW. There are certain guys in AEW that the believability from a fan perspective, in that somebody could actually be hurt by this, I can't buy into it. It's too hard for me to believe that. And once again, I'm not saying that I dislike the characters, that I dislike the person as a wrestler. It's just, when I watch it, I'm like, I don't think that really would hurt somebody if they did that.
Yeah. No, I get
Hey, just to very briefly change the subject before I add my 2 cents onto this. No, because I was just making mention about how I got an alert from The Athletic about LeBron's coming back. I just got an alert from The Athletic that LeBron's going to be wearing number 23 next year.
Hooray!
Anyway, yes, my biggest problems with Orange Cassidy have always been, one, the character is ridiculous. And that encompasses all aspects, the putting his hands in the pockets, the just saying whatever, and all that stuff. When he's introduced, the ring announcer says, weighing whatever from wherever. Just all that shit. It's fucking tiresome. The other biggest problem I have with him, of course, is that what you were just saying. The offense is weak. I've always said he's a great seller. He makes anybody who he's in the ring with look great, because he definitely sells the shit out of whatever the guys do to him.
Yep,
but his offense is ridiculous. Now, before Archer just retook control here, he was doing the kind of thing that he should be doing in a match against a guy who's so much bigger than him. He was going at his knees, he was going at his legs and everything, trying to, that's because that's the way you should be wrestling a guy like that when you're so much smaller physically. But then he went back to trying to do the fucking Superman punch again, and Archer caught it and everything. So, but I'm sure he's still going to win it. Now Jake's going to DDT him on the outside.
DDT who? Lance? He's going to DDT Orange Cassidy?
He was, but then Lance just stopped him from doing it. Jake probably also can't really take the DDT.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to see Jake do that to somebody.
Especially not
hurt
on
himself.
the outside. Yeah, especially not on the outside of the ring. I mean, Jake's gotta be pushing.
Should I Pat, should I pick out 2 colors and braid my hair like that?
Yes, you should. I will make fun of you, but you should do it.
I think you should go with pink and lavender.
Well, still down in the what? Just because I'm rocking the pink cup tonight?
Okay,
No, I didn't even notice that until now.
Now this is terrible. Cassidy just DDT'd Archer on the outside of the ring. Archer bounced back up 10 seconds later.
So,
yep.
So this goes across the board.
And that's not a criticism of Cassidy. That's a criticism of the way they book the matches.
Right. So, and this goes across the board for me. Okay. AEW matches, WWE matches. When you get hit with something, unless of course you're doing a power up, like all of a sudden I've got this burst of energy. Okay. Because we know that happens during matches with certain characters.
Wait, did he just win by count out?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I think
when you get hit with a move, especially when it's like later in the match, aren't you supposed to sell that you're actually hurt? There are too many times I've seen in recent wrestling matches where guys get hit with stuff and it's like a freaking no sell, and it's like on both sides, both guys do it. I'm like, so nobody gets hurt? Like everybody's impervious to pain in this match? Like it just. Yeah. There's the other thing about believability. And once again, this is not an AEW thing. This is not a WWE thing. This is a both thing. I've seen it in both. And it's like, you want me to watch, you want me to tune in, you want me to believe, you want me to be invested in the storylines, but you're going to give me a match with 2 guys that seem to never get hurt. And that's always been my biggest problem with Baron Corbin, the freaking indestructible monster that's not really that big. Like he's big, but he's not like, Giant Gonzalez or freaking the Great Khali or even
Andre.
or even we'll go as far as saying he's not
Undertaker.
even big as Kane or Undertaker.
Yeah.
Like at least
Well,
it
I
would be.
mean-
It's a little bit more believable with those guys. But even Kane and Undertaker sold getting hurt. Like they were never impervious to pain completely.
Yeah. I mean, this is something, I mean, like you said, but that's something that goes back a long time. I don't know if we all remember the John Cena, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania
That's
match,
pretty dope.
which was what, WrestleMania 23, I think,
Yeah,
back
it
in
was quite a while ago.
2007. Yeah, but if you remember, Cena won the match, of course. And then, like, after the match, Cena went to, like, and he had to go out of the ring to do it, to go, like, shake Michaels' hand and everything. And Michaels basically refused to. And that was because Michaels was pissed because Cena stopped selling that his knee was hurt about halfway through the match because Michaels was working on his knee and everything. And yeah, it's like you can't really be like selling that you're hurt for half of the match and then just stop. That's just as bad as not ever making it look like you get hurt and everything. But yeah, that's basically the norm now with any of the companies. Just nobody acts like they're hurt, that they've been injured, whatever the case might be. So yeah. So I wanted to I think this is kind of sad that they apparently really have nothing for the Acclaimed right now, because
He just says, "Don't worry, I'm going to scissor all use later."
this it feels like they've been pretty much exclusive to Collision since it started, and I feel like this is like the 4th out of the 5 weeks where all they've done is come out and cut a promo.
Yeah.
It's like they
I-
need to
Acclaim were
figure out
like one of the
what to
hottest
do.
tag teams that they had.
Well, and that's something that
They
everybody.
wrestled in a trios match. That's all they've done lately.
Yeah, that's something that everybody's favorite Kentucky-based podcaster, has said repeatedly for months, is that the Acclaimed got hot, got popular. They put the tag belts on them for a few weeks, and then they clearly didn't really know what to do with it to capitalize on it. So that's something I felt like AEW's done a couple times too. And WWE is kind of doing right now with LA Knight. So
Yes.
speaking
Yeah,
of
from what I got to see with LA Knight, he's pretty over right now.
oh yeah, he is, and he'll probably never be more over than he is now. So it's like you should be doing something with him right now. And it's like, yeah, they're doing this U.S. title thing now, and it's like, oh, that's right, Austin Theory's the U.S. champion. I feel like I've seen him never since the draft. That may also be because I don't really ever tune SmackDown in, but I just feel like he's just no. But
What
like,
do you have,
even
an
like
old school television with the
even
ears that you
even
have to
just
tune it in?
even just reading the results of SmackDown, I feel like they haven't even like had him on the fucking show. So
Yeah,
I don't
I always
know.
forget that Calgary is like the country city in fucking Canada.
It's Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, but it's like it's Canada's Texas. Or
Well,
Dallas.
yeah, they have like the big Calgary Stampede thing, which I think is going on right now, which I think is also another one of the reasons why they're in Calgary right now. It looks like they have a pretty decent crowd there. So
They do. Yeah.
you can never quite tell, of course, because you never know where the hard cam is and how many empty seats they're blocking out, because that's what everybody wants to talk about online right now. Is like, look at all the empty seats at the AEW show. Oh, look at all the empty seats at the WWE show. Yeah, but look at all the empty seats at this AEW show.
It's so worthless. It's a waste of time.
It's like fucking Democrats and Republicans anymore with these two fan bases.
Yes. Yes, it really is.
The tribalism is ridiculously high. So,
and guess what?
Correct.
Every show that they do that is not necessarily a pay-per-view or a premium live event is going to have empty seats at this point in time, because wrestling is right now, as much as you essentially have your fanboys for each thing.
Yeah.
And they're not going to cross over right now because they're I don't like AEW. AEW's this, or I don't like WWE because WWE is this. So yes, there are empty seats. The only thing that seems to be technically selling out is pay-per-views and premium live events.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that seems to matter right now. The house shows, well, like SmackDown, uh, Raw, Collision, uh, Dynamite, Rampage, like those shows just are not very good right now, as far as like where well, Raw and SmackDown haven't been very good for a very long time, but you guys know from watching Dynamite and Rampage and now Collision, you got like all those fucking shows now. They're not putting together complete shows like they used to be, especially from a Dynamite perspective, because that's the one that I get to see. They're just not putting together full good shows anymore.
Collision's had 5 episodes now. I feel like they only had one truly bad one. Coincidentally, Chris Jericho was on that one. But again,
I had a feeling he was going to say that.
Because that was the night before Forbidden Door, and they were all in the same location. It was in the same city that Forbidden Door was the next night. I mean, it was a lot avoidable.
I really dislike the name of that pay-per-view. It's the Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
No, it's. I'm sorry. Once, way back in the day, this is a quick little aside. When the first Super Bowl was played, Super Bowl I, one guy for the Kansas City Chiefs, who of course lost that game to the Green Bay Packers. In fact, I think it was the guy who became an actor, Fred Williamson. Yeah, Fred. He was called Fred the Hammer Williamson. He was the defensive back for the Chiefs, and like I said, he got into acting and everything. I think the thing that you guys would have definitely seen him in was he was in Starsky and Hutch. I think he was their boss. Yeah. Anyway, somebody asked him how it felt to be playing in the Super Bowl, the ultimate game. And as somebody who actually knew the definition of words, he just shot back, well, if it's the ultimate game, why are they playing it next year? Because ultimate means final.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was being a bit of a smartass about it and everything. And of course, the other funny thing was that, he was running his mouth before Super Bowl I saying that he was going to knock out the Packers starting receivers. And then ironically, he got knocked out of the game with an injury and everything. But anyway, so my point is like, so along those same lines, when you call it Forbidden Door and then you do it again, the door ain't so forbidden anymore, is it? Like
it's open for everybody.
The name literally works if you run the event one time. Once you run it a second time, it needs a new name. So yeah.
What could they call it?
Fucking anything. I don't give a rap.
No. Stop. Take a breath.
No.
Take a breath.
Breathe a little.
But let's see, because they did it with New Japan this time, right? Was it both times with New Japan?
Correct.
That they did?
Both times.
So there's got to be a cool, catchy name that they could call it. So, they called it Forbidden Door the last time because you had 2 promotions fighting for titles and stuff against each other. So what would be a cool name?
And in professional wrestling, the Forbidden Door is kind of like the way it is, forbidden. So
right, you don't cross
knock down
promotions.
The Forbidden Door, and you're allowing wrestlers from other promotions working relationships to come in now. So I think they do need to at some point create a new name for it.
I'm just trying to think. There's got to be a cool name that they could give it that encompasses both promotions. Because you got AEW and New Japan Wrestling, NPW, AEW. I don't know. We should think about that and like send it to them and be like, listen, stop calling it Forbidden Door. Change it to this. This title kicks ass.
And it's trademarked. So if you like it,
yeah, you got to pay us $1 million.
That's $500K right there, motherfuckers. That's a fee of 1.2. Tony, you got it, Tony. I know you got it in your bank account. Don't worry. I know you got it. You can fork that over. We split it 3 ways. Be good. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me overall, but I mean, maybe we worth at some point they will maybe change the name or so. Taya Valkyrie coming out with her cowboy hat on, all in red. It sucks because Tony's gonna win this match.
Tony
And I'm
Khan's
like-
in a match.
No, Tony
Oh,
Storm. Tony Storm was
I
Taya
saw
Valkyrie.
Jade Cargill lost. Did she lose finally? Did I see that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was back at the last pre-Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Wow, they
Taya's a
finally
very good
realized that
talent,
it's
too.
not
Look at-
worth.
Go
What's
ahead.
that, Joe?
No, I'm
said
saying
they-
Taya's a good talent. I just feel like she's gonna get wasted a little bit here in AEW.
I guess they finally realized that keeping the belt on Jade Cargill really did nothing for her.
Well, I guess they wanted to get her to 60 wins, 60-0 before she lost.
It did nothing for anybody. It wasn't doing anything for her. It didn't do anything for the belt, So now, of course, she hasn't been on TV since she lost. So God only knows, what's going on. I mean, it could be just maybe she's just taking some time off, which fine. But it's like I hope she's still working on her wrestling skills, which have still not improved, no matter what anybody thinks.
Yeah, I've seen some posts online. I was like, all right, guys, I don't know what you're watching, but there's glimpses here and there of improvement, and then you see a lot of glimpses of non-improvement. So I don't, I know she's working, but she's a bunch of people have been giving her tips and helping her out and working with certain wrestlers. But to be honest with you, it doesn't matter who your trainer is. You can have the best wrestling trainer in the world help you. It's just a matter of it clicking in your head to legitimately do what you're being asked to do.
Right.
And then to take what you're learning and implement it properly.
Well, and
for
it's like
yourself.
that with any sport, you
Yeah.
know, any kind of athletic endeavor. The thing is that either you have it or you're able to work on it, or you just don't have it. Some people just don't have the ability to do wrestling. Like, and it's like, I don't want to say Jade Cargill doesn't, but we
I think she
haven't seen
does.
evidence that she does completely. Like like you said, there's been glimpses where it looks like she could and turn the corner, and then it's back to what we saw before. So it's like she evidently has the ability. There's the athletic ability there, but like you said, something's not clicking for her to be able to put the total package together in the ring on a consistent basis, that she doesn't look like a greenhorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I say greenhorn.
You said it, brother.
So, while we're on the subject of AEW, I don't know if you guys saw this, but apparently, according to a report from Fightful Select, AEW now has a list of banned moves or approval required moves.
Oh,
The
our
banned
DDTs are pile drivers on that list.
The banned move list includes unprotected chair shots to the head, strikes to the back of the head, blind moves backward into the turnbuckle, like the buckle bomb, spitting, and selling like one is having a seizure. Wrestlers are also prohibited from physical contact with the crowd, including taking food or drinks from fans in attendance. Weapons and projectiles in the crowd are also a no-no, as is bleeding in the audience, which kind of was a no-brainer, just for liability purposes, for Christ's sake.
Well,
Now,
tell that to John Moxley, because he's got a problem.
The list of moves that require approval from above is much broader. It includes things like bumps on the ring apron or outside the ring, any spot with tables, ladders, or chairs, all variations of pile drivers, hurricane ranas, and sit-down drivers, using weapons and throwing objects, choking with hands or weapons, high-risk dives and top rope moves, bleeding on purpose. I guess that means bleeding. Injury spots.
Oh, John Moxley then. Okay, go ahead.
Any spots or brawling in the crowd, and any spots involving non-wrestlers like referees and managers. So I read that and I was just like, rah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
You're approving a lot of John Moxley matches and all other kind of crazy shit.
Yes.
Good job.
Now, this morning's Cage Side Seats, Daily Rumor article, Regarding AEW's list of moves that require approval from above, one AEW wrestler told The Observer that you won't see any changes that would be noticeable because the wrestlers have already been telling the producers about those moves. Now, first of all, that wording says the wrestlers have been telling the producers about those moves. It doesn't say they've been getting approval the way that the other thing I just read says that they're supposed to be doing. I guess they tell the producer and that's all the approval they need. Because I finally signed up for comments on Cage Side Seats because of another article, which I don't think I'm going to bother to talk about. But I just quoted the article and I said, so they'll say no to someone at some point, right? And
We're telling the producers we're not asking for permission.
Yeah, and it's like I got a few likes that post, and somebody replied to me with, narrator, they will not. And that's basically the way I feel about it too. I feel like this is lip service to placate the network, who probably has some kind of concerns about this one way or t'other, and placate critics who are like, you guys don't have a safe working style. You guys get injured all the time. Yada yada yada, blah blah blah.
There's too much blood. We
Yeah,
don't need
one
people
guy,
dying on TV.
one guy basically, enters the ring, blood just somehow just starts pouring out of his forehead. It's a mystery as to why. But yeah, what do you guys think about that?
I think it's a lot of things that they can't do and have to get permission from, and I'd love to actually see that happen. I'd love to see them tame back a John Moxley match where he's not allowed to bleed.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause that would
seriously,
be
like,
hilarious.
I get the concept of what was written in that article and what they're supposed to do, but I don't see any of that happening. Or it's only, what am I trying to say? So it's 75% of the roster, you got to ask permission. I just feel like it's like, hey, 75% of the roster, you guys got to ask permission for X, Y, and Z. You guys over here, don't worry about it. Just let us know if you're doing it. You're good. So it's kind of, that's how I kind of feel about that, because I'm still seeing that shit being done by certain wrestlers on TV and in pay-per-views. So what's the fucking point? Especially if you're not going to hold true to that, or you're going to give certain permission for certain guys that are going to be able to do it and others no. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah.
Just
I don't know. It's
doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
it's like they really do need to start working safer. I don't care a shit what anybody Omega says. You can't go out there and be as reckless as possible and then complain that your body doesn't have many bumps left in it, because maybe your body would if you didn't work so recklessly. And
Maybe.
I'm really talking about generalities, because I haven't seen enough specific matches to be able to say, like, okay, it was that or whatever. So, but it just seems kind of ridiculous. So,
Yeah, I understand. I'm not buying into that.
yeah.
Not at all.
All right. So since we're talking wrestling, and I didn't have a chance to sit down and watch this
For too long.
You sent us that clip from not clip, that you sent us the YouTube video of his interview with Insight, and I was going to start watching because I found the minute mark where he starts talking about his star rating and how he breaks it down. I have to listen to this because I want to talk about this. Joe, did you have a chance to watch it at all?
No.
No.
I was like, should I? I should. Do I want to listen to his shenanigans right now? No. I
No.
probably will take a gander at that video sometime tomorrow. But yeah,
All right,
go ahead.
Then we will talk about it on our next show. And
No, you could bring anything up. Did I make
well,
you
no, I
feel-
didn't have a chance to watch it either, and I don't know how long he's going to talk about his 5-star rating. So he could drab on for a long time.
Yeah,
Let me see
yeah, I know.
here.
Pat, I don't know how long did he?
Yeah, he talks about that for at least 5 minutes about his 5-star rating, how he determines his rating system. That's a long ass time to talk about how you do your rating system.
Yeah, I think it should be only like 2.5 minutes. Tops.
Because
I don't think it
evidently
should be very detailed.
he never gave
with that.
Kurt Angle a 5-star match, which is kind of
Nope.
crazy because Kurt Angle's had some amazing matches.
He never gave Kurt Angle a 5-star match.
Yep.
All the fucking matches he's been in. Oh my God.
Well, I can sum this up a little more.
So I'll have to go back and watch that
Yeah, but I can sum this up a little bit more hysterically. Let me see here. Hold on 1 second. 2022.
So we'll take a deep dive into his rating system next week when we all have a chance to watch
Who
that.
is this jobber Anna Jay is wrestling?
The one that looks like Dewdrop?
Yeah.
No, I'm being dead serious. She wrestled Julia Hart last week. Wait a minute.
Wait, this is Julia Hart. Never mind.
That is
I'm
Julia
sorry.
Hart.
I don't know
Wait,
why I was
this
thinking of Anna Jay. Julia Hart. Like, who is she?
this-
Like,
This is from last week. Something happened to their feed.
Unless they purposely are doing a recorded match.
No, they were in the middle of because they were in the middle of the women's title match between Toni Storm and Taya Valkyrie, and like I saw something going like glitchy, and then like the screen went black, and then went to commercial, and then they just like came back from commercial, and they're showing this match was from last week. So I don't know. Something
okay,
happened.
now they're back to the announcers.
Anyway, while we're
Maybe somebody got injured in the ring and they had to cut away for a minute.
anyway, but let me
We'll
just
find out.
kind of now they are back on the announcers. So something happened. Something happened with their feed. Anyway, so Jon Moxley had more 5-star matches, according to Uncle Dave, between May 29th, 2022 and June 4th, 2023. So barely more than a year. Okay. He had more 5-star matches in that year plus 6 days than WWF/WWE had between 1995 and 2017. He gave 3 WWF matches in that time span 5 stars. 3.
Who are those 3 matches?
Those 3 matches were Bret Hart, Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, In Your House 18, Bad Blood, also known as the first Hell in a Cell match.
Okay.
And I lost it. John Cena, CM Punk, Money in the Bank 2011.
Yeah, he didn't
I
give
agree
either
with
of the
that, too.
Undertaker, Shawn Michael matches at WrestleMania a 5-star, and those matches were
Right.
amazing.
And that was one of the ones that the guy in that clip
he asked him about that. I saw
specifically
that.
asked him about like why not the WrestleMania 25 match between Undertaker and Shawn and everything. Now you might say I'm cherry picking those years between 1995 and 2017. Yes, I am, but that's also 23 fucking years
Yeah,
compared to one
guy got
for
it in.
one guy.
That's
Yeah, because-
crazy. Like,
Because
I'm sorry, I've seen a lot of Moxley's matches, and you can't tell me that he has that many 5-star matches in such a short period of time. His matches aren't that freaking good. It's essentially
I'm
the same
surprised he
freaking
even
match.
has that. He even has a 5-star match.
and well. And most of those matches, I think, were multi-man matches. But just to kind of bookend this a little bit, he gave 2 WWF matches 5 stars in 1994: the Razor Ramon Shawn Michaels ladder match at WrestleMania 10, and the
Right.
Bret Hart Owen Hart steel cage match at SummerSlam that year. Okay. But he literally gave no WWF matches ever before the Bret Shawn ladder match or the Razor Shawn ladder match, 5 stars. And then he started giving WWE 5 stars again in 2018, where a bunch of NXT matches got 4 separate NXT matches got 5 stars in 2018. Andrade against Johnny Gargano at TakeOver Philadelphia in January of 2018.
That's a valid one.
Adam Cole, EC3, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, Velveteen Dream at NXT TakeOver New Orleans on April 7th, 2018. Gargano against Tommaso Ciampa at the same show. And a regular NXT taping tag match of the Undisputed Era, in this case represented by Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, against the Mustache Mountain team of Trent Seven and Tyler Bate.
I remember that match. Yeah, that's valid.
So, and he's given a few other WWE matches have gotten 5 stars since then. 3 in 2019. Once again, all NXT matches. Cole Gargano at TakeOver New York on April 5th, 2019. Cole Gargano at TakeOver 25 on June 1st. And Walter against Tyler Bate at UK TakeOver Cardiff on August 31st, 2019.
What about the main roster? Because that Black and Gold still wasn't a main roster show.
Right. He's given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 WWE matches 5 stars since 2020. Walter against Ilya Dragunov, or however you pronounce his damn name, at NXT UK on October 29th, 2020. Another match between those two guys at NXT TakeOver 36 on August 21st, 2021, which he gave 5 1/4.
Oh no.
Cody against Seth at Hell in a Cell last year. Gunther against Sheamus at Clash at the Castle last year. And then 2 matches from this year's WrestleMania, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the Usos, and Gunther versus Drew versus Sheamus on night 2. So I just read to you the entire 5-star history of WWE matches according to Dave Meltzer. And yeah, no Rock, no Randy Savage, no Ric Flair, no Ricky Steamboat.
So what did he rank
no
Macho
Kurt
and
Angle,
Steamboat?
no Chris Benoit, no Chris Jericho, no X-Pac. I mean, just
because Macho Man and Steamboat was probably one of the greatest matches that ever happened.
Yes, and I believe, if I recall correctly, he only gave that 4.5.
I mean, if you talk to most wrestlers, they know about that match and they know how good that match is when when they sit down and watch it.
Yeah, those goddamn thing.
But it's so. What I'm taking away from Meltzer's rating is, he probably has some biases on what wrestlers he likes and which wrestlers
he has a
he
bias
doesn't like.
on wrestling styles too.
Right, and then
he has a bias on who he likes. Yeah, think.
Well, but making an observation here.
Just Savage Steamboat was 4.5 stars.
Okay, so almost 5.
Yeah, just wanted to. I just want to throw that in real quick, just so I gave you the right rating.
But because I know who Dave Meltzer is. I really do give 2 shits about what he thinks about wrestling. But I find it very interesting because you can definitely tell just from what he's given 5 stars and what he has not given 5 stars, the amount of 5 stars he's given out to certain wrestlers.
And above 5 stars.
And then above 5 stars, which is weird. But he definitely has wrestlers that he likes and dislikes. And he definitely has wrestling style that he prefers to watch and enjoys more. And that's fine. Like, he's evidently a fan of wrestling, which is cool, which makes him being able to write articles and stuff like that more enjoyable, especially if it's a match that he enjoys. But when you're giving out star ratings, you kind of have to, in my personal opinion, you have to put your biases aside and rate it real on what you're actually seeing. The storytelling, the in-ring ability, was there the crowd reaction to the matches? Was there did it have influence on the next shows, or was there a good build up to it? You know, the storytelling leading up, not just in the ring storytelling, but the storytelling leading up to the match, and that what happened after the match. Like all those things come into play, in my personal opinion, when it comes, if you're going to give star ratings out. Not, well, I really like this wrestler, so like evidently he really loves John Moxley, because who the hell gives John Moxley? No offense to John Moxley, but you're not going to give him 5-star matches in a year. I'm sorry.
No.
I like John Moxley. I'm not going to lie. I like John Moxley, but I'm not going to sit there and tell you and blow smoke up your ass and tell you that he has 5-star matches out the wazoo, because it's not fucking true. Like, it's just not.
And my response to that would be no offense to John Moxley.
I know you don't like John Moxley.
Not anymore. Not anymore. But I mean, without getting too far into it, because I want you guys to be able to listen to it and everything, and I don't want to kind of go over every detail, because again, we can talk about it next week. He's kind of all over the board with what he says. He kind of seems to contradict himself a lot of times. He really can't seem to articulate it quite well, which basically just goes to prove is his own personal feeling and everything. But one of the dumber things that he said was that there's no difference between 5 stars and 4 3/4 stars.
Then why not just make him 5 stars?
Right. I was going to say, now, as somebody who works with numbers on a daily basis as part of their job, while such a difference in most things in the accounting world is referred to as immaterial and wouldn't necessarily need to be like, changed this way, that way, or the other, I still can verify that 4.75 and 5 are not the same numbers. I have that on reliable authority.
That just makes no sense.
What, you mean 2 + 2 doesn't equal 5?
No, it's 4.5.
Well, it depends upon which math system you're using. If you're using that Common Core shit, But yeah, so I definitely encourage you to listen to it. I got to go back and listen to some of it too, but my whole point is just that he has no credibility anymore because of the way that he gives ratings to certain things. And he clearly favors certain people.
It's like his rating system. It's like somebody did him wrong in WWE, like didn't give him access or something, or didn't give him inside information. So he's like, WWE 5-star ratings have to be only for these. They got to be something off the wall, crazy, amazing, matches. AEW, because they love me and they give me all the inside information, I'll give everybody a 5-star match eventually.
I mean, shit, he didn't give any of the fucking original TLC matches a fucking 5-star, and those things were fucking fantastic. That's just
insane. I mean, I would, if he were to ask moi.
Well, nobody's asking you, so.
TLC 1 at SummerSlam 2000, TLC 2 at WrestleMania 17. And then probably TLC 3, where they added Benoit and Jericho into it. I would probably give all 3 of those matches 5 stars if I really felt like it, honestly thought about it, Maybe the WrestleMania one I knocked down a tad because of the Lita, Rhino, Spike Dudley run-ins, which felt kind of unnecessary and detracted from the 6 actual guys in the match. But, but yeah, again, I've said this, a lot over the last few years. I just feel like Meltzer's lost all credibility, and maybe you still listen to him for news stories, though I'll bring something up about that real quick. But you really just can't rely on his ratings anymore, and now it really does make you wonder about his ratings going back in time. There's one I'll cite next week. I don't want to get into that rabbit hole right now, but
well, yeah, when you start going over 5 stars and pretending like it would be different if he started with a 10-star rating. But when you say I rate matches on 1 to 5 stars, and then all of a sudden you're going above, and he gave some match, didn't he give some match a 7-star rating or some shit like that?
Yep. So.
This one was above and beyond by measures, so it gets 7. 7, I said.
Just put 5+. God damn it! Fuck this shit.
My other problem with Meltzer too, and somebody could try to say, oh well, he doesn't pick the awards; they're voted on by his readers. If you don't think that the people who pick those awards aren't basically influenced on how to vote for those awards by Meltzer, you're insane. So
Valid point.
Joe, I mentioned this to you. I was so glad that they kept him off the Junkyard Dog Dark Side of the Ring episode because, for one thing, they have plenty of other guys who actually work with Junkyard Dog who they could have talked to. But, it seemed like from the moment Junkyard Dog left Mid-South and went to WWF, Meltzer started hating him. Now, part of that was that he did start getting out of shape and everything. But, if you go back and read like issues of the Observer from those years, he kept constantly referring to him as the junk food dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, a little bit below the belt, a little bit unnecessary. So this past week on Dark Side of the Ring, they did Adrian Adonis. And Meltzer was on that episode. And
Christ.
I might have to go back and rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure he praised Adonis for getting the whole adorable gimmick, the essentially gay gimmick over and, got a lot of heat for it. And, it was a little hated and everything. And it's like, it's really funny to hear Meltzer praise Adonis for doing so when Adrian Adonis won Most Embarrassing Wrestler in 1986 and Worst Gimmick in both 1986 and 1987 from the Wrestling Observer.
It's interesting.
It's like just because it's now 36, 37 years later and the guy is dead, you can't take back what your readers picked for him then. Now, the most embarrassing wrestler part of it, you could maybe also say was because, he started to get really balloon out with his weight there and everything. But I'm pretty sure it was really more pointed at the gimmick. So, it just...
Hilarious.
Meltzer talks out both sides of his mouth. So here's another Meltzer thing. This was from today's Cage Side Seats Rumors article. In the latest issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer writes that WWE's decision makers don't see it as a big deal to beat Sami Zayn because they always saw Zayn as just a guy who got over as a fluke.
As a fluke?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. That could be possible, and that certainly wouldn't sound out of the realm for certain people we know to be decision makers in WWE. But, of course, Dave's not going to put a name to that.
No. Of course not.
And, of course, he would say, well, if I put his name, then he'll never talk to me again. It's like, oh, God, would that be the worst thing in the world?
For some of us, no.
It just,
no.
to me, that's kind of irresponsible rumor mongering. That's the kind of shit where if you were a real journalist, you wouldn't be able to write unless you got multiple sources, even if they were unnamed. Now, maybe he did. Who the fuck knows? But knowing him and his relationship with WWE as a whole, I don't know, because I don't really know who in WWE that would be considered a decision maker is fucking talking to Dave Meltzer. I know Vince isn't. I don't think Triple H is. I know Bruce Pritchard isn't. I don't think Kevin Dunn would be. I really don't know who else I could possibly name at this point. I don't know if Nick Khan does. I also don't know if he's considered. I also don't know if he's considered a decision maker on the creative side of it. I thought he was really more just the business side. So
he's getting it from somewhere. That's right below all those people.
Right. That's it. And he could be. That person could also be just making it up.
Yep. That's the other thing too. They get news out there.
And that's the problem with all these sites, whether it's Wrestling Observer or Fightful or anybody really. You really have to decide, how much faith you want to put into what they're saying. Like Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, I posted some things this week. I can't remember what they were now, but I said like, well, that's just fucking ridiculous. I just remember having a negative reaction to it. I don't remember exactly what it was now though. So
it's all online Jerry Springer 2.0 shit.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's dumb.
Jesus.
So one other dumb wrestling thing I would like to point out to you guys now. Now I don't know. Can one of you guys like go to a Twitter page and like post like a video that's there so that we can all see it?
Oh, you want me to bring up a video?
Yeah. If you can.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to do something so we can see it. So we can see it, my man. Give me 1 second. Which where am I going to?
So you're going to go to the All Elite Botches Twitter page if you can.
Oh, I follow them. Okay, go ahead.
And their newest video is, it says it was posted 12 hours ago. It's a 40-second video, and the comment on it says, Tony Khan, do your thing, with a couple of laugh crying emojis.
Oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah, I just, you have to see this video. It says it's from something called IWA. I don't know what high school gymnasium outfit that is, but I think there was an IWA
video.
I think there was an IWA back in the day, like during the territory years. It might have even been in Indianapolis, which I think was
The
run by
issue with this table was too close to the wall.
Well, you're spoiling the video for our viewers, Joe.
I'm sorry.
Do you want to show it, Joe?
I have to.
Dun, 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 dun.
I have to log into my Twitter account on my computer.
All right, I got it.
Sean Spears running, chasing Christian around the ring, grabs his jacket off, and Christian's wearing a sleeveless shirt.
Yeah. Got to show the
right.
guns. Wow, there's my guy.
Show. Let's see, optimize for video clip.
There's Scorpio. And new Knockouts World Champion, Trinity. You go, Trinity.
Can I turn this sideways and it'll give us a bigger picture? Oh, yes, there we go. Ooh, there we go. Here we go. All right, are we ready?
We are ready.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Oh, I can see.
All right. Just for the faint of heart, if you cannot take any kind of moments, you might want to look away.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I'm just going to start off by saying this was stupid to begin with right here. As soon as he decided, let me climb the wall.
Holy shit!
Dumb.
Holy shit!
Oh my
I don't think this guy. And I don't think he ever wrestled again.
There goes his arm.
Oh my God, he missed. We're making sure he's okay.
His arm, his neck, all
And
his
the
neck.
guy stares at the table like he got hit. I'm like, yeah.
Now,
Yeah, keep selling. The guy that you're wrestling with is dead. Keep selling.
All the way up. Oh my God!
now, Jeremy, you just said I don't think that guy ever wrestled again.
God!
I'm going to be a tad blunter in my assessment of that. That guy should never have been allowed to wrestle again.
Oh, yeah.
For the following reasons. One, there had to be 70 people watching that live?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm being generous. I was going to say 100, but then I said, you know what? That even sounds like too much. So the absolute fact that there's nobody there to see you do your stunt is is crime number one. Crime number two is the stunt itself. Just doing that, jumping off the side of a wall,
onto concrete. Like, even if he lands on that guy.
Right. Crime number three is the spot itself. It's stupid in every possible way. You're either going to kill yourself, you're going to kill the guy you're jumping onto.
Yeah, because he's probably a good 20 feet in the air from that spot.
Yeah, it's just everything about it is just head, hit, desk, stupid. So,
because even with the Mick Foley spot, when Mick Foley jumped onto the end, got thrown off the top of the cage from the Undertaker, WWE did the best that they could to make sure that Mick Foley was going to be protected.
Yeah.
Because that's a 20-foot cage. And they knew he was going to fall. Well, they knew. It wasn't unknown that he was going to do that. The table was made sure to break. And when you watch the clip back, you can see there's like a padding underneath that he falls onto. And even with all that, he still hurts himself. Bad.
Yep.
So to do that without any protection for yourself or the person that you're wrestling is beyond idiotic.
You don't fuck yourself. All right.
Oh yeah, they just showed the end of the women's match too, where Tony retained. No surprise. They did say there's something went wrong with the satellite feed. So.
For some reason, we decided to show you guys the beginning of another match.
Yeah. Well, you know. So this is, I mean, yeah, you know, you cited basically what kind of really, I don't want to say it was the beginning of that, because I think we already had the beginning of that reckless style with just ECW, you know. Foley,
Yeah, and then XCW or whatever the other shit
yeah,
was.
Foley falling off the cage kind of accentuated it, you know, crystallized it into one singular moment that nobody will ever forget, you know, and everything like that. And yeah, too many people tried to imitate it. And, you know, of course he took the second fall through the cage, which was not planned.
Yes,
No.
the cage was not supposed to break. And he said
Right.
if that cage didn't break the way that it did, he's like, I probably would have died.
Yeah.
Well, he also said that like if he had like jumped up for a choke slam the way he normally did, then he probably would have landed on top of his head and probably killed himself, you know. So, but like, and what has Foley said about that match? After it was over, he's going to stitch up and everything. Vince goes up to him and says, I want to thank you for everything that you've done for the company, but I never want to see that again. Even Vince knew after seeing it, this is as far as we can go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
and it scared him. He didn't want to do any of those things again because he saw the look on his kids' faces. He thought they thought they lost their dad.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of also more the Royal Rumble the following year with all the unprotected chair shots when he was handcuffed. But yeah, like what was the most dangerous stunt that I can really think of that they did after that, I guess, was when I think it was Undertaker pushed Rikishi off the top of the Hell in a Cell and into the back of that flatbed. But even then, that was like way, like, you know, it was like cushioned, and he wasn't falling as far,
Yeah,
you know. But they never really, other than say like, or maybe Edge jumping off the ladder to spear Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania in the TLC match, but you know, they never did anything that was quite so reckless again that I can really think of offhand.
man,
You know, that wasn't like an obvious work. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that spear to Jeff Hardy with Edge, man. Even Edge was like, "Yeah, that was not that hurt," because he
Yeah.
gave himself a concussion and like freaking whiplash and all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah. So, but
Yeah. So
Wrestling is
I just-
dangerous, guys. Don't ever do it
yeah.
unless you're a trained professional, and even then, it's scary as hell.
But of course, if you have concerns for a wrestler's health and you articulate that to them in some way to say, I don't think you should be doing this kind of a dangerous spot, then depending upon who you're talking to, you know, you might get somebody to say, yeah, I understand what you mean, you know, or of course you might be told to shut the fuck up because you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do this all the time, man.
Well, that's basically what Kenny said.
yeah, he did.
So, but I really don't feel like talking about that. So,
Yeah, we don't need to
We're,
dive into that. We're okay.
So how far behind is everybody on their Marvel TV shows?
I still have not watched one episode of Secret Invasion. I still need to watch Ms. Marvel before the Marvels comes out. Luckily, I still got about 3 months, 3+ months to do that. Yeah.
I watched
I
the
have a
first
feeling- I have a-
episode of Secret Invasion.
I have a feeling I won't watch Secret Invasion until after Ahsoka for some reason, even though they have nothing to do with each other. It's just I feel like I'm waiting for that so much that I don't really give a shit about Secret Invasion, especially because I've heard very mixed things for Secret Invasion. So, you know, like my older sister, who I just find that so hilarious. My younger sister got really into the Doctor Who reboot when it first came on.
Okay.
And then I got back into Doctor Who after having watched some of the classic series and everything. But then like I started watching all of Doctor Who again. Now my older sister's really into Doctor Who, but of course only the new Doctor Who, not the classic series and everything. But I just find it funny because she's going, "Oh, I didn't like the first episode of Secret Invasion because it's like Doctor Who already did that." I was just like,
Oh my god.
I'm like, that's kind of stupid.
The Secret Invasion comics, when I read them, were very interesting because what they did in the comics kind of technically changed a lot of things. There's a lot of questions that came out of it. So I feel like from what I've heard about this, I feel like they're doing the same. I mean, doing the same thing, but it's kind of like Nico is even like, you need to watch these 4 episodes because I have questions. And I'm like, oh shit. Great. You have questions. Like
Oh.
you've seen you've seen all the Marvel movies and you watched all the Marvel TV series on Disney Plus. And I'm like, crap. Now you're sitting here telling me you have questions. Like, what the fuck did they do in this goddamn show? I'm like, god damn it.
Well, the first episode was
I know they kill somebody in the first episode.
They do. It's a character that is not one that's been in any of the movies before. The character that we see kill him was
Kenny, right?
Huh?
They killed Kenny in the first episode. Oh my god, they killed Kenny.
I didn't know.
But yeah, it's like the first episode is a little drawn out because they're doing a lot of storytelling. It's trying to catch you up to what's going on. My only takeaway, and this is just me being nitpicky, is you cannot have Nick Fury without the fucking eye patch. And he has no eye patch, and it's pissing me off. I don't like it. I want him with the eye patch. But I'm just being nitpicky.
Oh, it's all good.
Because his eye looks weird. It's like a gray eye. I'm like, put the patch back on him. Like, I don't want to see his
scratched
gray
by
eye.
an alien cat.
Yeah, they go back to that a bunch of times. Like they do, like recaps of the fucking stupid cat thing, whatever the hell kind of cat that was, or alien, I should say.
I have not even finished the season of Andor yet. And that's
you are so far behind.
You mean Emmy nominee Andor?
I have 3 episodes left to watch of Andor.
What have you thought of the episodes?
Overall, I like the series in general. Like I didn't have any nitpick issues or whatever the case may be because they really needed to tell the story of what was going on. Mm-hmm. So I was engaged in wanting to know all the characters that were being presented to me on screen.
So he's in the prison at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That prison's crazy, right? With the floors?
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, I got to watch the last couple, but yeah, I mean, overall, I definitely like the Andor. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
yes,
the show was nominated for best drama at the Emmys, which is pretty astounding in a lot of ways. It's not going to win. It just won't win. They won't vote for a Star Wars show to win. They'll nominate it, but they won't let it win. The 10th episode was nominated for writing, and the 12th episode, the finale, was nominated for directing. Unfortunately, they didn't get any acting nominations because I felt that at least Stellan Skarsgård definitely deserved an acting nomination, and specifically for the 10th episode, which was nominated for writing. And when you watch that episode, Joe, you'll know why. That's all I'm going to say. But there is a scene in that 10th episode of Andor which I consider maybe one of the best moments in all of Star Wars. So
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And yes, Pat, my post was correct. Hugh Jackman is wearing the proper Wolverine outfit.
Like I said, I was just doing that to be a dick.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
And the
he's
other
wearing
thing
the
I
blue and
feel
gold
that's
one.
very that's very interesting as they're bringing oh fuck Jennifer Garner back
Yes,
as Elektra.
Elektra.
And I'm like, interesting. And I'm like,
And here's the thing. She was not a bad Elektra. The movie itself was bad. Like it was just not a good movie.
the thing about Elektra though, it's that's interesting. They're doing that is technically Elektra's Asian. So
I know.
they, I was when Jennifer Garner was when that movie came out, I was like, well, actually, when she was first, wasn't she? She was in the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, wasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she has like I don't want to say a cameo because it's not a cameo.
Well, she's in that movie, I think. But I was just kind of like, she's Asian. I'm like, I like Jennifer Garner, but Elektra's Asian. The fuck. But
Well, I don't see
this
Jennifer
is
Garner
multiverse
as a
shit, so who knows how
badass
they're
fighting character either. Like she doesn't come off as like that kind of actress.
And for Elektra, you need her to be a badass, to be honest.
Yes.
That was the other thing. I was a little like, I don't know
Who
if I
played
can see it.
Elektra in the Daredevil series? Like, didn't they have Elektra be introduced in the Daredevil series?
And she was Asian. Proper.
Joe's very, very, very important thing for Joe.
Proper.
She should be Asian.
Proper, goddammit. Proper.
Well, and the thing with Ryan Reynolds that I find is like he likes to like he wants to give credit to the people that have been doing it, and he's evidently a comic book kind of guy.
Yeah.
In the fact that he wants things to look like they're supposed to, like the black X-Men suits, like drove me nuts in the X-Men movies.
Yep. So I'm here. It was one of the things I did not. It was the number one thing I did not like from any of the X-Men movies was their outfits.
Right, because I'm trying to think because I watched a lot of those X-Men cartoons, and was it just Jean and Cyclops that wore the suits? Like I don't feel, and maybe
basically.
Beast.
There was a couple others that did from time to time, but majority of them,
most
they had their own specific outfits.
Right, because Rogue always wore green and yellow. Iceman, well, he was fucking ice, so he didn't really have a suit. Wolverine had the brown and yellow. Then he had the blue and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think if there was another outfit that he wore at any point in time. I don't think so. I'd have to go back and revisit that.
The only time they wore matching outfits is when they first introduced the X-Men. Way back.
Yeah, like the 70s. Original. Like, yeah, then they had those.
They had
blue and yellow. Blue,
yeah,
they were like blue with like yellow.
They all wore the same outfits, and I don't think that lasted too many years in the comics until they started giving them like their own like identities and all that stuff. Because then the comics were starting to evolve at that aspect.
Right, and the original four, it was Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, and who was the fucking fourth? Because it wasn't Wolverine.
Wasn't it think of Archangel or whatever his name was?
Yeah, it might have been Angel before he became Archangel. Yeah, I think it might have been Angel. I'd have
to double check him up. But yeah, I felt like they were trying to like go back to when they had the outfits, which I guess pay homage, whatever. But it's like that's not what the majority of the people really remember at that time when those movies were made. Like, come on, if you want to do that for the first movie, great. But when you make sequels, let's give them proper costume, looking attire, to be honest.
Well, I feel like this has been a problem with pretty much every superhero movie.
Majority of them, yes.
Since the 1989 Batman. like I felt like they all kind of collectively said, we can't have the costumes be brightly garish or anything like that, or really just even brightly colored. I mean, Batman never wore all black. You know, it was always that like, blue and gray combo and everything. Even in Batman the Animated Series, it's like his costume was like that. It's not all black and everything. But they switched it to all black for that movie, and it continued. The original Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, he was wearing red and blue, right? Go Google pictures of Brandon Routh from Superman Returns. He's not wearing red and blue. He's wearing maroon and blue. That was not red. And it was almost
a little darker.
And it was almost as if they said, and like the blue was darker too. It was like they basically said it was like we need like a muted color palette or something. And yeah, like the X-Men movies obviously are another big example of that and everything too. I think really probably what it all comes down to is it's easier to shoot. You know, when they're wearing dark costumes and everything, you can hide things better and everything. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but there's other ways you can get around it too. Oh wait, they tried that in Green Lantern, didn't they?
Yeah, the imaged suit that he had.
The
Yeah.
CGI.
And
So-
I mean, like even in the Flash to an extent, it's like I still am like, yeah, his costume's not red enough for me. It's too maroon, So
So the original X-Men was Cyclops, Marvel Girl, who we know as Jean Grey
That-
now,
That Marvel Girl.
Beast, Angel, and Iceman. And their arch enemy, this is just funny, their arch enemy, Magneto and his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, Mastermind, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Toad.
Yep.
Who, Mastermind, he became a nothing character eventually. Like, I don't even remember him really being part of the Brotherhood of Evil, because then it became, it was, shit.
That's expanded multiple times, have been changed multiple times over the years.
But the one that most people remember is, why can't I think of the shape-shifting chick? I can't think of her name.
Mystique.
Yes,
Yes.
Mystique. It became Mystique. She's a whiz. I'm having the worst time with their freaking names right now. Sabretooth. Toad. Blob.
You know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning?
It blows up.
No, I don't know.
The same thing that happens to everything else, or whatever the hell that line was from the first X-Men movie that people to this day love to make fun of. Just had to throw that in there. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's just interesting because Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, they were in the Brotherhood, but they were like not main characters of the Brotherhood. So it's just interesting how it started off and where it went to, like with like Mastermind. I'm like, Mastermind was one of the original freaking Brotherhood of Evil people. Like, really?
There was a story arc for the X-Men in the 90s called Apocalypse.
Yes, I do. I remember that.
They had I had so many comics from that series. It was really cool. It was interesting. The drawing was different. The colors were so bright. The stories I thought were good. Just some good stuff. I miss some of the 90 comics there. Some good stories. And speaking of that, while I was in PA, multiple times in the past month for family stuff, I found more comics that I didn't know I had. And I have to go through them now and see what I have in there. I found some ones that are like, oh, here's a series where I have a number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 comic. Wow, holy shit. Doesn't even look like I read them either. That's the crazy part. And the most important thing that I found, the number one most important thing that I found the rest of my Playboy collection.
Oh, there you go. That's important.
And
That is important. That's very important, especially if you have
here's-
like celebrities.
here's the thing though. The second part of the collection that I found was the collection that had all of my WWE wrestler ones. So all the divas that have posed for Playboy, I
Mhm.
have all of them. They were in the second box that I found with all of them in there. And I was like, score. Yes, this is great. And I got to see how much they're worth.
Let's see, 2 of them are dead now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you were finding all those comics and everything, I'm sure you found a mint in the package issue of Action Comics #1, right?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Definitely did. I did
Well-
find
Won't have to worry about sending your son to college.
no, I wouldn't if I had that. I did find I found some old Maxim magazines that I used to subscribe to. Yeah, but I looked them up. They're not worth shit. They're only worth maybe like a couple bucks more than what the fucking original price was for them. So I just tossed all of those. I'm like,
I'm
damn.
gonna say I'm not too surprised that Maxims haven't appreciated in value.
No. Some Playboys actually have it as well, but all that they're more or less dependent on like who's on the cover, of course. But you'd be surprised on how some are worth more than others when you would think it'd be reversed. But yeah. Oh, and then I found my Sega Genesis.
Oh,
So
I'll take that off your hands.
Well,
So-
you know what they say. Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
yeah. So I found my original NES. I found my original PlayStation that I had modded to play Japanese games. I found a Turbo Graphics video game system that I never bought, but I think I bought it off one of my ex-friends. And then I found my Sega Genesis. And the cool thing about the Sega Genesis is that it has a couple of the wrestling games and like NBA Live 92, which was like the Olympic edition. So it has the Olympic team on there. And there was I think a Mortal Kombat game I found. Then I found like a couple N64 games. I'm like, I need an N64 system, damn it. But yeah, I found some cool stuff that I totally forgot I even had her owned. Oh, but yes, Jeremy has X-Men outfits up on here. Yeah, look at them.
Yeah,
fancy.
so this was the
Back in the day.
original concept for the X-Men, and you could see Iceman had no suit; he was just ice. And like Beast had no hair; he was just a
Yep.
dude in a suit.
Yep. It was
And then this is I mean, this is a little bit newer, but this is like kind of how I remember. You got Angel; he had his own suit. They all had, Rogue with her different suit.
yeah. This
Actually,
is
I'm sorry, that's not Rogue. That is the Phoenix.
Right. Yeah, Dark Phoenix. If you look at that one, like the 4 of them have like the same color scheme of the blue and yellow. That's when
Right.
they kind of changed Wolverine. Like the late 80s and the 90s is when Wolverine had the blue and yellow. And they kind of made like everyone else kind of like follow Super Se, but they had their own outfits. They kind of made their own and unique per se.
I don't know where that's from, but that's kind of interesting.
That's late 90s, I think, early 2000s.
All right, now while we're sharing, pictures of original comic costumes, please bring up Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah,
Oh, jeez.
yeah. Green with a freaking gold mask.
Well, that's not really the one I was referring to, but okay.
This one.
Whatever one where she's showing a ton of cleavage.
Oh.
He wants to see boobies.
Otherwise known as, like, I think when they cast Elizabeth Olsen in the role, somebody said to her, like the director or the producer or whoever said, like, don't worry, we'll never have you wear that costume. But then she did wear a kind of sort of variation of it in like the Halloween episode of WandaVision.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. Yeah.
That wasn't- that still
let me.
wasn't-
I'll just look up Scarlet Witch.
That still wasn't quite so boobalicious, if you will.
Yeah, there you go. Scarlet Witch original costume.
I mean, and obviously she didn't need to be wearing a costume that was quite so exploitative, if you will, in the movies and everything. It still looks enough.
That one.
Yep, that'd be the one.
Yeah.
Looks like something that somebody that's in the exotic dancing would wear.
That's something Pamela Anderson would be wearing. Yep.
I mean, it definitely,
Watch.
it definitely looks like some 14-year-old teenager's wet dream, you know. So
It definitely does.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Where did you see that, Joe? I want to get a better.
I saw something about Scarlet Witch being mentioned as the possible villain for. What the hell did I see it was now? I think it might have been Deadpool 3, and I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, it kind of really doesn't. Yeah, you know, she does wear a variation of that in that
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Just more fully clothed and skimpy.
Which is not a bad thing. I mean,
No, not at all.
Mm.
that's Joe. Yeah, I can't find a better. But yeah, it's amazing how comics evolve, and they start off some of them pretty generic, like the X-Men with those terrible, drawings of different people, and evolve into something much, much better. Beast in my mind, he can't be Beast unless he looks like a beast. Like, it makes sense that he looks like a blue hairy monster. you
Yeah.
know?
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
I can't necessarily say that I liked Kelsey Grammer playing Beast in the X-Men movies. That was kind of weird for me.
It was
I thought he was fine, really.
The acting was fine. Like, I won't disagree with that. I just don't see him as, like, once again, there are certain people that have played certain types of roles, and it's hard for me to see them outside of those roles. Kelsey Grammer's the comedian, had that terrible show that I never watched.
What terrible show?
We're talking about one of the shows after Frasier?
No, I'm talking about Frasier.
You like Frasier?
No, I did not like Frasier.
Well, as well as Leslie Nielsen said in to the one character in Scary Movie 3. Well, that's because you're an idiot.
I like Frasier.
Frasier's one of my
favorites. No worries, but yeah, I liked Frasier.
Hey, the fact that I like Frasier so much and Kelsey Grammer really is proof that you don't have to be, I'll still watch your stuff if you're a Republican. Okay. It's when you get to be a QAnon supporter that I draw the fucking line, Jim Caviezel.
Oh, Lord.
Very difficult for me to ever go back and watch Thin Red Line and Count of Monte Cristo now. Anyway.
I get what you're saying. But
then, of course, they were, Nicholas Hoult played the younger Beast, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year to me is a mediocre year for comic book movies anyway, from both sides, Marvel and DC. I mean, have I enjoyed the movies that I've watched? Yeah, I've enjoyed them. But for the grander scheme of things, I just feel like it's been a bit average.
Yeah, I can't say I didn't like any of the 4 comic book movies that I've seen. I think it's been 4 now.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've seen none of them lately.
But excuse me. I definitely wouldn't say that any of them were great.
No, they've been all good. Nothing great or spectacular.
Yeah,
nothing that's not one movie that's moving into my top 5 favorite DC movie or Marvel movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, we got, what do we still have coming? We got Blue Beetle. You've got
Aquaman,
and that has potential to be really good.
The Marvels, and then Aquaman 2.
So we have 2 DC movies and a Marvel movie.
And the Marvels, I'm kind of concerned about. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, that one I need.
It has the potential to be really bad. if they're not
Yeah,
careful.
that has a potential to be. I don't think there's a gray area with that. And that one's either going to be good or bad. We need to see a new trailer from that because I need to see a little bit more.
I don't want it to turn into a freaking comedy.
That's what I don't want either.
And of course, they shifted release dates around for some of the stuff next year and afterwards. And now, of course, we may never see anything new ever again.
Because the
Because of
Marvels
the,
needs to
because of the strikes. So,
but Marvel needs to like the Marvels needs to include kind of where Quantum Mania left off with the whole Kang the Conqueror thing. Like there's got to be some allusion to Kang in that movie.
I don't think there's going to be,
because it's supposed to, like, all these movies are supposed to tie in, is my understanding, is tie into the beginning of the next Avengers series. You know,
Phase 5, 6, where the fuck they're in right now.
yeah.
Well, again,
I know there's issues with the guy who plays Kang, but
again, I mean, right now the schedule for the rest of Phase 5 is the Marvels and then Deadpool 3. Now, all these dates, these are the dates as of right now. I can almost guarantee they're all going to change at this point because of the strikes and everything. But Marvels will be coming out November 10th. Then next year, Deadpool 3 is May 3rd. Captain America Brave New World is July 26th. And Thunderbolts is December 20th. Then Blade is scheduled for February 14th, 2025. That's the end of Phase 5. Phase 6, then, right now, the only things that are
interesting
scheduled.
real quick, it's interesting to end Phase 5 on a new movie. Introducing a new character into the Marvel Universe and being the end of Phase 5.
Yeah, the only things that are on the list for Phase 6 as of right now, and this is obviously not going to be the full list at this point. Yeah, that's okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. Fantastic Four, May 2nd, 2025. Avengers, The Kang Dynasty, May 1st, 2026. And Avengers, Secret Wars, May 7th, 2027. It also mentions that they have 3 unannounced films set for February 13th, July 24th, and November 6th, 2026. Now, that would mean you would only have 2 films in all of 2025. Blade in, what was it, February, I said, and Fantastic Four in May. And then they'd end up having 4 films in 2026 in February, May, July, and November. That seems uneven. Well, it seems uneven. It seems like you should, 3 a year should probably be the limit and everything. So,
yeah.
But again, like I said, with God only knows how long these strikes are going to last right now, who the fuck knows when these movies will actually be coming out. So,
well, I know
I'm
were
pretty sure.
trying to get Deadpool done before the strike because they were actually almost done filming that.
Well, they didn't. So, I mean, Marvel's I'm pretty sure that's not going to change. Captain America, according to the Wikipedia page, says that it's in post-production, but Deadpool said it was still filming, and then Thunderbolts and Blade were still showing as pre-production. So, yeah. Obviously, they could still make that release date for Deadpool if they don't have a lot left to film, but they would also probably have to, get that finished filming by the end of the year at the latest to make it May release.
Here's my question with this writer's strike. So say you have a movie in the writer's strike and they're not supposed to be on set. Can't I, as the person running the fucking show, be like, yo, I'm going to give you $5 million right now. Let's finish this fucking movie. Then what?
No, because they're part of a union.
Right. They'd be ostracized from the union and they'd find it very difficult to ever work again. And it also doesn't matter now with the actors being on strike. So.
Oh, the actors are on strike too?
Oh, yeah. That happened. That was announced the other day. I mean, it was kind of an interesting thing because they were having the London premiere for Oppenheimer and they officially went on strike while the premiere was going on. So Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, and Matt Damon all left the premiere because of it.
Why are the actors on strike for?
Same reason the writers are on strike, basically streaming and AI concerns. You know,
They're not.
I
they're
don't
not
understand the
feeling like they're
streaming
getting enough
aspect
money.
of what they're concerned about that, because the
it's
studios,
simple residuals. You know, actors get paid on residuals for years based upon, you know, how much, like, you know, their movies and shows that they were in are still shown on television or rented or this, that, or the other thing. Well, ever since
Yeah.
streaming become a thing, they've never figured out a system for it. And now the studios are basically all crying poverty. And the actors are basically saying, fuck you. So,
interesting. Ay, ay, ay. It's always something. Got
Yeah.
sports, right?
I'm definitely on the side of the writers and the actors here, you know.
Yeah,
Now,
no.
it of
When you
course means
say it,
God
yeah.
only knows when you're going to see new episodes of your favorite TV show and when certain movies are going to come out and everything. And yeah, that's going to suck. But, you know, the studios created this problem by jumping on the streaming bandwagons to begin with. And then instead of licensing out their content, deciding, oh, we all need our own fucking streaming network. You know, Disney did it, Paramount did it, Warner Brothers did it, you know, so Universal's basically already had it with Hulu. So,
I
yeah.
mean, they still, even though like Paramount and all those things, there are still content that they farm out, so to say, for lack of better words, to
You're
other
s-
streaming that they get paid for.
Yeah.
But
Right.
they would have
But
been better off charging
yeah,
more money to these companies and not having their own platform.
yeah. And I
'Cause
and
there's
the
too many
problem
now.
and the problem is I still don't think that they're doing anything as far as you know, they've never come up with again with like some kind of compensation system that would work, you know, like, you know, like do you get paid X for the movie that you were in being streamed Y times, you know, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
Hey, you
it's
still got sports and reality TV. There you go. That's all you need.
that's
Yes.
basically and that's basically all you're gonna see. So you
That's
know
right.
I get my
it's
reality TV and sports, baby.
and this is one of the reasons, of course, I think why, even though it didn't really seem necessary, AEW got 2 more hours of TV. You know, so
Yeah. True.
now it's not exactly what you would call a prime TV time slot. You know, being Saturday nights at 8, but still,
It's a time
that's
slot.
that's the way it is. You know, and I mean, I saw something on like the rumor thing like recently that said AEW isn't necessarily concerned with the number that Collision pulls in, but how it does in its time slot relative to everything else. So,
Like I said, they gotta feel it out and see how it goes to the end of the year,
yeah,
so they can gauge what they need to do for next year. To be honest, but you know, it's all good. But
yeah, it's just a messed up situation, and everything. And of course, one of the reasons, of course, the studios are going to say that they don't have the money to fork over to the writers and the actors and all this. It's because of, you know, lingering effects from the pandemic, and people aren't going to the movie theater as much as anymore. And of course, the studios are partially to blame for that, because they embrace the streaming to the point of not putting movies in theaters and only showing them on streaming. So,
I mean, but on the flip side, you still have movies that being produced making over $200 million, or I'm not 200 million. I mean, hitting over $1 billion. You know, global box office. So, you know,
well, it almost seems like those have been few or far between. I mean, I was where the hell is it here? So 2023 movies, Super Mario Brothers movie did great, made 1.3 billion worldwide.
that movie was awesome.
Guardians 3 did 842 million. Fast X has done 702. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse did 649. Little Mermaid 545. Ant-Man 3 476. John Wick 4 426. Transformers did 411. Creed 3 did 275. Indiana Jones, Elemental, and The Flash have all done 263. and then Dungeons and Dragons did 208. Those are the only movies that have broken 200 million worldwide box office so far. Mission Impossible obviously will in short order.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
But of a lot of those movies that I mentioned,
And only won over $1 billion.
well, it's not just that, the cost for some of these too, and then comparison to like previous installments. If you look at Wikipedia, the budget for Fast X was 340 million. And one thing you always have to remember, that's the production cost. That doesn't include advertising. That doesn't include how much it costs them to make the films, like, the copies that get sent out to the theaters and everything. Now let me see something here. Of course, it doesn't have a nice, quick, easy link. What was the name of the ninth Fast and the Furious movie?
Oh Christ.
Fast
Was it
9.
F9? No, it was F9.
Yeah, F9.
F5.
F9 made 726 million at the box office, so it just, well,
Yeah, unfortunately, that movie's not
more
gonna make over $1 billion.
more than Fast X did, and that also came out when you could say that, like, some after effects of the pandemic, because that came out in 2021 and everything. Let's see, Guardians 3. Well, we know, I told you what Guardians 3 made. Guardians 2 made 869 million worldwide. So roughly the same. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did 384.3 million worldwide. So that increased greatly. Ant-Man 2, otherwise known as Ant-Man and the Wasp, did 622 million worldwide. 150 million less for Ant-Man 3. John Wick 3 did 327 and John Wick 4 did 426, so that's an improvement. What the hell was the last Transformers movie? Well, actually, there was two. Transformers: The Last Night did 605,
And Bumblebee.
and Bumblebee did 468, and Transformers: Rise of the Beasts was done 411. But its run might kind of already be over, because I saw an ad, I think they're in Collision, saying that it's on digital now. So
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
yeah, and Indiana Jones, Elemental, and The Flash, I mentioned, all made 263 million, but I think all of them have basically been considered flops. Indiana Jones carried a budget between 295 and 400 million.
Holy shit.
The Flash's budget was between 200 and 220. And Elemental says it was 200. So, and of course, there's all these people out there saying Disney's woke. So, dealing with that horse shit. And, for the Flash, I think there was a lot of things that contributed to it not doing well at the box office. I think.
Yeah, Ezra Miller.
I think that was part of it. I think the
that's
fact
the
that
biggest part of it.
I think that everybody knows that they're changing everything, rebooting everything, whatever the hell you want to call it, impacted it, because probably a lot of people probably said, well, what's the point? None of these characters are coming back.
I think that,
Or we
plus
think none of them are coming back.
them plus them canceling the Batgirl show, and that they just killed all the Michael Keaton momentum too. And they're like, well, we're gonna see Keaton in one movie, we're not gonna get him in the other. They canceled Batgirl, and they're not gonna do the other thing now. So, those hardcore fans will go see it, and all the rest of them being like, well, fuck it, let's see what DC does next. And really just didn't go out. And I think there's a lot of people who just despise Ezra Miller and all of his antics and are not going to support that movie.
Yeah.
A lot that goes into that.
It's too bad because I still felt that The Flash was more good than bad as a movie
Yeah.
too. So
Same here. Same here. But
apparently,
let's see.
apparently the AEW satellite glitch there was because they were having weather issues that fucked up with the satellite. So that makes sense.
Getcha. Let's see. We're at 11:48, and we're over 2 hours into the podcaster that we call a podcast.
Guys.
Yeah, whatever. Yes, fans. We have a lot of announcements. We're going to be doing side shows here with
Hey, Bryce Harper hit a home run, Jeremy.
with exclusive content. And we're
Hooray!
going to be rebranding to a brand new name. So we're
Since
going to
he,
be called the Pillars Incorporated.
he had gone 166 at bats without a home run. So that's, yeah. Of course, he's still recovering from Tommy John surgery. So,
Yeah.
Wait, what did you say?
I said we're branching off into exclusive specific content, and we're getting a new branded name, Pillars Incorporated, starring Joe and Pat.
Oh, Pillars Incorporated.
Yes. With our
I thought you said Murder Incorporated, and I'm like,
with our sidekick Jeremy. And
yeah,
the ghost called AJ.
we forgot to do what we said we were going to do, didn't we?
We did.
Because this is, Jeremy's first appearance on the podcast in
Like a month.
in like 6 months. So
6 months.
we were planning on having him muted for the first 10 minutes
Yeah.
while Joe and I just talked shit about him. And he would be sitting there going nuts, unable to really respond to us in any way.
Little shits.
Yeah. He'd have been shouting at his wife and kids, being like, "They're saying bad things about me."
Yep.
Not being able to do anything about it, it's like we wouldn't let him leave either. We'd bring him back into the podcast. It's like, you gotta sit there for 10 minutes of quiet time.
You're put in the corner. You're grounded.
So my wife liked the last one that you had sent Joe as a possibility.
Wait, hold on. Was this from my original list, or was this from my shenanigan one?
Your shenanigan.
Oh, fuck me. What am I doing here? I'm in the wrong fucking chat. Oh my God, why can't I find my own shit? Oh yeah, D's guys nuts. Ralph Table's show.
I was like, that's terrible. She's like, but it's funny because you guys are nuts. And then I said, well, we're like that, but that's not what that means. She's like, but I'm like, oh, it's a double entendre.
Yeah, I still say my idea would be good if we could get away with it. These fucking guys.
I know.
Yeah, I don't think we could put a curse word in the title of our show.
Yeah,
the fact that one of the rewatch channels on YouTube I follow had done a rewatch of the entire series of The Sopranos, which I watched over the course of the last month or so, probably has a lot to do with why I was even thinking about such terminology. Because
of course,
Sopranos, they would occasionally be like, this fucking guy.
We'll figure it out. We'll definitely figure it out.
Yep. All right, gentlemen. I think we're gonna call it a night, right? Yes,
sir.
It is a night.
Yes. It's not the next day yet. Thank goodness. We didn't get that far.
Well, that was something that happened in Mission Impossible, because there was a point in Mission Impossible where they had to solve riddles to disarm a bomb, and one of the questions they asked was what is always arriving, but what is always approaching but never arrives? Tomorrow, right? So
never dies.
Yeah, or I was going into when I went into work yesterday, said good morning to the admins, and I was like, today's Friday, and you know what that means. Yesterday was Thursday.
That would be some lame stuff that I would say. So I'm right there.
What a
with you.
dad joke that was.
Yeah, I specialize in them. Yeah, even though I'm not a dad, so I'm
Oh
over
my God.
I'm over 40, so it's like I guess that's the only requirement anymore for shit like that.
Yes.
Correct.
All right. Well,
But
we
it's
wanna
also
thank-
just to try to gauge what they were gonna say and then, just basically, like disappoint them. So yeah.
yes, you got probably a ton of eye rolls. Like, oh my God, do we really work?
Well,
with
I only
this
said
guy?
it to 2 people, so I only got 2 eye rolls.
4 eyeballs.
Actually, the funniest thing that happened at my job yesterday was when I told my one boss that my other boss was going on vacation for 2 weeks starting this coming Monday, and the boss I told that to was seemingly not aware.
Not
Wow.
aware. Nice.
Yeah,
He's
he
what?
yeah, he wasn't real happy about it for some reason, and like I was just kind of, and then when he left, he like left without saying goodbye to anybody, and I was just kind of like laughing about it in my head. I was just like,
You can take a vacation wherever the fuck you want, God damn it.
exactly. So, yeah. In fact, I think what my boss is going on vacation is doing is he was going on like an extended vacation last year, but he had to cut it short about halfway through because he got COVID.
Fun.
So he had to come home and everything. So I think based upon what he said to me yesterday is that they're doing the stuff that they didn't get to last year. So it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So all right, Jeremy, you were trying to sign off. I'm sorry.
And we're off. No. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you watched, we greatly appreciate it. We will continue to come back each and every week, except for one. We're 3 weeks out of 4 every month because we want to take a week off and get our shit together, so to say, so we can keep coming out with good shows. And we will have special guests on for our specific shows, like our fantasy football episode and whatever special episodes we do. We'll have a special guest on that we can highlight and be our so-called expert in that topic. So we probably won't do a wrestling one like that because none of us are experts in wrestling, and we don't know an expert on wrestling. So, or at least not somebody I'd call an expert. So, with that said, we want to thank you guys for watching, and we hope you finished with us.